Thank you. Thanks, Quinn. And as the rest of them on the thing already heard, there was a bit of a commercial there, and I did a practice for this. So as I was going to say, welcome to all the 5 or so attendees we've got. They're up in the right-hand corner there. You can't see them, but they're here with us. And so we're just coming at a close. So I will go from moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Deputy Mayor Turton, that the Council of Town of Minto resumes at open council. Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay. Moved by Councillor Gudson, second by Councillor McKenzie, that the minutes of the Town of Minto May 4th, 2021 regular council meeting and the May 4th, 2021 closed session meeting be approved. Any opposed? Carried. Okay. Any additional items? Deputy Mayor Turton. Okay, and Mark. Okay, if you have something later, let me know. Okay. Moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Elliott, the Town of Minto Council convenes in the committee of the whole. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Carried.
Sorry, through you, Mayor Bridge. That should actually read that we convene into committee of adjustment.
Oh, okay. It says committee of the whole on my thing.
Yes, it does say that on mine as well. Sorry.
Committee of adjustment. Okay, we'll just adjust that. Okay, that's good. It's adjusted. Thank you. Is everybody still in favor of that? Good. All right. So the first up, we have a public meeting. And I will chair the public meeting. And I will state any decision reached by this committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. I will state the following. The public hearing is to consider a minor variance application MV 2021-05 for owner Corrine Bell and applicant Bob Harris. I will call on the Secretary Treasurer McRobb to do the following instructions.
Thank you, Chair Bridge. The property subject to the proposed minor variance application is legally described as Plan Harriston Part Lot 33 in the former town of Harriston, municipally known as 21 William Street East in the town of Minto. The subject property is plus or minus 0.14 acres or plus or minus 0.05 hectare in size. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit the construction of a 616 square foot detached garage with a reduced rear yard setback and increased accessory structure lot coverage. The applicant is seeking relief from section 6.1.2b and 6.1.4a of the Town of Minto's Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 01-86 as amended. Section 6.1.2b states that the minimum rear yard setback for an accessory structure, garage, must be 1 meter or 3.3 feet from the rear lot line, whereas the applicant is proposing to reduce the setback to 0.3 meters, 1 foot. Section 6.1.4a states that lot coverage shall not exceed 10% of the lot area for all accessory buildings and structures, whereas the applicant is proposing to increase the accessory structure lot coverage to 10.4%. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to the property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies, on April 29, 2021, and posted on April 30th, 2021 on the subject property. Comments were received from Ashley Sawyer, our planning technician for the town of Minto, Curtis Marshall, manager of development planning from Wellington County. Email correspondence that was received on Monday from Jeff Newman with concerns regarding drainage and setbacks, and an email correspondence that was received today from Dean Campbell with concerns regarding setbacks. Planning technician Ashley Sawyer will speak to these concerns during her comments. I'd like to advise you that the owner, Corrine Bell, and applicant Bob Harris are registered to speak to the application, and Kelsey and Chris Langridge have also registered to speak to the minor variance. And back to you, Mayor Bridge.
Thank you. And I'll call on Ashley, our town planning technician, to provide comments. Ashley?
Members of council. So as Annalene stated, this is for property at 21 William Street East. So it's right on the corner of Queen and William in Harriston. So currently the property has a single family detached residential dwelling unit on it, and it is zoned site specific residential that is a result of the lot severance in 2017. So rezoning of the property was a condition of their severance at the time, and it was endorsed and recommended by the County of Wellington's Planning Department. And at that time, an Ontario land surveyor was out and placed pins on the property. So again, that was in 2017, so relatively recently. So the applicant is now looking for this variance as they're looking to build a 616 square foot garage on the property. The maximum lot coverage of accessory structures is 10%, so that would permit a 591 square foot garage. So the proposed garage is approximately 25 square feet over what is permitted, which works out to 0.4%. Additionally, the applicant is looking to reduce the rear yard setback of the detached garage to 1 foot from the required 3.3 feet. This is because the applicant has looked for other possible solutions to not reduce the reduction in the setback. However, due to the layout of the lot and the location of the walkout basement, moving the garage any closer to the house would render the walkout basement inaccessible or difficult to use. The proposed distance from the walkout basement to the house is 3 feet, to the proposed garage is 3 feet. The applicant has already scaled down the garage in size from 24 feet to 22 feet wide. And even for a 2-car garage, 22 feet wide may be a bit tight. So Wellington County did not note any concerns regarding matters of county interest. Source water protection in Maitland Valley also did not note any concerns. Town staff have noted a few concerns, but we feel these can be satisfactorily addressed as conditions of approval. So the first is that the applicant will be required to submit a grading and drainage plan prior to the issuance of a building permit. This is reviewed by our Public Works Department as well as Triton Engineering, and this is something that we require for all residential infill lots for builds like this. So it's pretty standard. However, to address concerns with the grading and drainage, as well as water shed off the proposed garage, we are recommending that conditions on the approval are included, such as requiring the garage to have a maximum eave extension of 6 inches from the side of the wall that abuts 87 Queen Street North. So that's the rear part of the property. So that water is not shed, as well as eaves and eaves troughs on that portion as well. Additionally, building department staff will be ensuring that the location of the garage is on the applicant's property by comparing to the recent survey that was done. And then, as mentioned, we did receive some letters of concern, and we have someone attending for a letter of support. Jeff Newman, so his mother Marjorie Newman owns 87 Queen Street North, and he has stated that there's grading and drainage issues in the area already, which we are aware of, as is the applicant. The thing with this process is that it will allow us to have a grading and drainage plan to the satisfaction of the town to address any previous issues as well as any potential from this. Additionally, Jeff Newman noted he was concerned with potential snow accumulation on his mother's property. Our staff do not anticipate that snow accumulation will be an issue on the property due to the location of the garage. Dean Campbell has also registered to speak in opposition, but he's unable to attend now. He believes the setback should be 2 feet rather than 1. And Kelsey Langridge is here as well to speak in support. So ultimately, the recommendation of town staff is that we are recommending the committee receives the report and considers granting the relief, but with the conditions recommended.
Okay. Thanks, Ashley. And I don't think Bob is on the line.
Through you, Mayor Bridge, he was there. I do not see his name there now. So.
I'm on, maybe you can't hear me.
Oh, there
there
he
he is.
is. Okay, there you are. Okay, Bob. Yeah, I can't see you. Okay, there you go. Okay, I'll have you speak to it then, Bob. Go ahead.
No, it's fairly straightforward. If back when the lot lines were made in the first place, if they were parallel, we wouldn't be asking for this because it's fine at the front of the garage. It's just because the line's not parallel, it's not right at the back corner. So we're only asking an easement to get the back corner to fit on the lot. The front's fine. So, and I've downsized the garage, and we will meet the drainage requirements or whatever that is. And I think that'll take place when we meet with the neighbor, because he has water problems now, and I think we're going to end up putting a drainage pipe right to the road, and then it'll go into the storm drain there, and it'll fix everything for all the neighbors.
You'll work with the town on that.
Yes,
I think.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're doing it right now on King Street, so it's not new.
Okay, just hang in there because there might be some questions for you.
Yeah, fine, thank you.
And Dean didn't, and that only thing actually you've already talked about. Dean's concern was the 1 or 2 feet. Okay, and that was it. Okay.
Yeah, from my understanding, he had questions about the lot coverage that I addressed in an email, and he said that was to his satisfaction. So it was just a setback.
And I don't. Oh, there's Kelsey. Kelsey, or is it not Kelsey? Who's on there? Languages. Did somebody want to speak
So Kelsey and Chris were coming on, so if they
Chris
can
or
just
Kelsey?
unmute
I
their
got
microphone.
Kelsey's name up, but who's there? Would you want to speak to it, Chris? Or Kelsey? There you
Hello.
are. Oh, it's Chris. Okay. You
Hey,
got Kelsey's name, Chris's body. Okay, good.
she's here too. She's just hiding. She got nicer hair. She should be on here. No, we didn't have anything to say. We were just curious about it.
Okay.
But
that's
as
fine.
Bob said, it's only because the lot line's like on an angle, it's only the front part, like the front part of the garage that's going to be impeding on the 2 feet.
Okay. I'll turn it over to the committee now if they won't have any questions. So everybody's here if you want to ask anybody, Ashley, or any of the other applicants. Any questions? Jean, and then Deputy Mayor Turk. Go ahead, Jean.
Curious about this 1 foot setback. That's not a lot of space to do anything, like even to get back to maintain a building, or if there's, I don't know if there's going to be gravel there. Does it allow for drainage and you put gravel so you don't have grass to cut? Because you can't get a lawnmower in a foot hardly. Just sort of wondering about access to the building and if there's issues down the road.
Yeah, the neighbor Marge, her house is 12 feet from the property line, so, but I'm putting a access garage door in the back of the garage so we can get to the backyard. And then there's room,
Okay.
so there's room within the property line to run a 4-inch drain down past the garage to the street, so yeah, that can be addressed very easily.
Okay, thank you.
It's Jean. Deputy Mayor Turk, go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor Bridge. I think it's pretty easy for us as councillors to deal with Bob Harris. I mean, he's way ahead of us here on this drainage stuff. I mean, I've talked to him and he's thought it all out. And I mean, if he's going to make it better for the whole area by putting in a drainage pipe to the street or wherever he's doing it, I think that's a good thing. I think we've answered Jeff's questions, and I think we should move ahead.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor Turton. Anybody else? Judy, go ahead.
So I'm curious about the lot line that the comment was made that it's not straight, or the garage or isn't straight with the lot line, or I wasn't sure. So when you're saying it's only going to be a foot, are you saying it's not a foot the entire length then? It's only for part of it? So it, okay,
The back's fine, it's just the front that's going to be closed, because the line seems to run to the south on the front corner. That's where the problem started. If the line had run straight, we wouldn't be here in the first place. There would have been enough room. So just the angle the lot line's on, we had to ask for forgiveness.
So would it be fair to say then that it's correct at the one end and it's down to about a foot at the other end of the garage then?
Yes, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
One time and it didn't cause any.
Anybody else there? No? Okay. So Secretary Treasurer McRobb, did you want I think
So
we probably
through
go
you,
with
Mayor Bridge.
policy. Yep.
If I could, let me just, sorry, I just got to pull it up here. There it is. So I will give you the one in favor along with the conditions that are a part of it for you to consider.
Yep.
It's that Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment approve the application by Corrine Bell for property legally described as Plan Harrison Part Lot 33 in the former town of Harrison, with a municipal address of 21 William Street East in the town of Minto, to provide relief from the town of Minto's comprehensive zoning bylaw 186 as amended from section 6.1.2b to reduce the rear yard setback to 0.3 meters 1 foot, and section 6.1.4a to increase the accessory structure lot coverage to 10.4%, with the condition that the applicant is required to submit a grading drainage plan prior to the issuance of a building permit to the satisfaction of the town of Minto. Additionally, the proposed detached garage may only have a maximum eave extension of 6 inches and must have eave troughs installed to the satisfaction of the town of Minto on the side of the garage that directly abuts 87 Queen Street North.
Okay. Everybody understand that? Okay.
So through you, Mayor Bridge, I would need a mover and a seconder.
We need a mover and second for that. Deputy Mayor Turton and Councillor Dirksen. Okay. All in, anybody opposed? Carried. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
No, and Kelsey or Chris.
Thanks, everybody. Nice seeing everybody.
So anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision, the Committee of Adjustment to respect the minor variance application must make a written request to the clerk of the town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89, Harrison, OG 1ZO, or by email at town@minto.on.ca. I'll officially adjourn the public meeting. Okay, no gavel, I have no gavel. All right, thank you. These are a lot more fun if they're in person, I must say. They're a little tougher to do when we're doing it this way. So next up, we have the public meeting for MV 2021-06, Block 24, Creek Bank Meadows, Right Haven Homes. I'll chair the public meeting in order to state any decisions reached by the committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. Public hearings to consider a minor variance application MV 2021-06 for Right Haven Homes Limited. I will call on the Secretary Treasurer to state the following information. Go ahead, Emily.
Thank you, Chair Bridge. The property subject to the proposed minor variance application is legally described as Register Plan 61M-237 Block 24 in the former town of Palmerston, and is municipally known as 101 Stevenson Way in the town of Minto. The subject property is plus or minus 0.36 acres or plus or minus 0.14 hectares in size. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit the construction of a 5-unit street townhouse dwelling with reduced lot frontage, reduced minimum floor area, and reduced setback from the center line of the street. The applicant is seeking relief from Section 13.2.1.2, Section 13.2.1.8, and Section 6.31B of the Town of Minto's Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 0186 as amended. Section 13.2.1.2 states that the minimum lot frontage on a corner lot residential unit is 14 meters or 46 feet, whereas the applicant is proposing to reduce the frontage by 10 meters or 3.3 feet, 1 meter, sorry. Section 13.2.18 states that the minimum floor area for a 2-story dwelling is 102.2 meters squared or 1,100 feet squared, whereas the applicant is proposing to reduce the floor area by 3.95 meters squared or 42.5 meters squared. Section 6.31B states that the minimum setback from the center line of a county road is 15 meters or 49.2 feet, plus the applicable 6 meters or 19.7 foot setback of the zone, for a required total minimum of 21 meters or 68.9 feet, whereas the applicant is proposing to reduce the total street setback by 3.5 meters or 11.48 feet. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies on April 29, 2021, and posted on April 30, 2021 on the subject property. Comments were received from Ashley Sawyer, Planning Technician, Town of Minto, and Curtis Marshall, Manager of Development and Planning, Wellington County. I would like to advise you that the owner, Stephen Wright, has registered to speak, as well as James Shaw has registered to speak to the minor variance.
Thank you, Annaline, and I'll turn it over to Ashley. And Ashley, you want to give the yours and the county's report. Thank you.
Yep. So this minor variance is for Block 24 of the Creek Bank Meadows subdivision. So this one is for a 5-unit townhome development. So it's located right on the corner of Stevenson Way and Main Street East. So the property is currently zoned site-specific mixed use, which already permits for the construction of the townhome units, but the developer is seeking some minor relief on a few items. So I did want to mention that a minor variance application for the townhomes in phase 1 sought nearly identical relief that was approved by council July 3rd, 2018. At that time, the Wellington County Planning Department submitted an in-depth report and stated they had no concerns with the relief as it maintains the general intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw. So the relief in question is minor. For the lot frontage, they are seeking 1 meter relief, which is 3.3 feet. Floor area varies. It's just for the internal 3 units. So the 1 unit needs 0.21 of a square meter. The other is 3.15 square meters, and the largest is 3.95 square meters. So the largest maximum relief works out to around 40 square feet. And as mentioned, the street setback, 21 meters is what's required. For this townhome block, they are proposing 17.5 meters. That being said, Maitland Valley had no concerns or objections. Wellington Source Water did not either. The planning department at Wellington County had no concerns as it pertains to matters of county interest. And the roads department did not have a concern with the decreased setback from the center line of the street. They stated that this is because the access points is going to be off Stevenson Way anyways, not off Main Street East, which is what is the county road. So Town of Minto staff support the application as it maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. This is a reputable builder, experienced, and housing is needed in the community. This development and relief is in accordance also with provincial policy. So the recommendation is that town staff are recommending the committee receives the report and considers granting the applicant the requested relief.
Thank you, Ashley. And it's nice to have Stephen with us. Stephen, nice to see you. I haven't seen you for a while, and we were sort of seeing each other, but.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know what, Mayor Bridge, I'll concur 100%. It's much better to do these in person. They are far better. Yes. But anyways, thank you. It's my pleasure to be at the meeting tonight.
Yeah. And have you got any further? I thought Ashley did a pretty good job of it, but did you?
Yeah, I want to agree 100%. Ashley did do a really good job. And thank you, Ashley. That was well presented. And I have just a couple of notes of why I guess we aren't able to keep to the exact setback requirements. Is because we've been priding ourselves on developing some nice units that have a unique aspect, that being corridors or access from garages to the rear yards. That's very important for home ownership because it allows us to sell these units as a freehold unit, and it actually eliminates the access easements that would be required if we were to not have these corridors from the garage. And in fact, on this particular block, the corridors in the garage are the difference in the square footage size that is the biggest concern. But I think that there's far better value for the access to the rear yard to prevent these easements at the back for property maintenance, for people to cross each other's boundaries or lot lines to get to their access to the rear yards, which I know can be a particular problem for maintenance and municipal issues down the road, and conflicts with property limits and lines and where fencing goes, and it becomes a bit of a nightmare. I just like to note that similar to, as Ashley was mentioning, block number 23 in our first phase, what's different about these applications is the actual setback from our property line is greater than what our first application was. So we're actually 6 meters back from the property limits. So that is only encouraging or improving on any setback infractions from the property line. And there is a further 9 meters from the property limit to the actual curb, I'll call it, of Main Street. So there's no daylighting issues, or there's lots of room there for access onto the road, and no hazard for traffic or anything like that. And then we have the other restriction that kind of prevented us from being able to meet the exact sizes is that there's a special easement, if you'll notice it on I'll call it on the north side of the property. There is a 1.8 meter easement that is for a service drain, that is for drainage. And these units were particularly proposed to being 2-story units because of the width of it. And the setback from the property limit of 1.85 meters is actually consistent and greater than a lot of setback requirements for single family homes that'll be 2-story, that's 1.5 meters. So that was the other limitation that we put into this, that we had to take into our consideration for the designs of these units. Ashley did mention that we do need these units in the sense that it is providing a marketplace. We've done a really good job of trying to design in something quite unique and interesting. And the size of the units is consistent with what market demands are for size of bedrooms and great room spaces and kitchens wide open to the great room. And that's very much in keeping with what we did with these designs. And I think we've accomplished what we were intending to do, is create some unique units here. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. And I'll be here. I can answer any of those that you can be concerned with.
All right, well, that'd be good. And maybe I'll open it up for questions now. I know, has anybody got any questions? Councillor Elliott. You're still on mute. There. Oh, no, you're still on mute. There you are. You're good.
I press down too hard and I get back and forth on both. Stephen, I want to congratulate you on the subdivision so far that you people have done in there. Fantastic designs.
Thank you.
You drive through that place, it's hard to tell the difference between a home that's joined together than a home that is designed for one person. It's fantastic. You guys are great builders, and I fully support what you're doing here, and I'll support this minor variance for you.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott. That sends shivers up my spine to hear those kind words. Appreciate that greatly.
You're welcome.
Deputy Mayor Turk.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat here, Mayor Bridge. Today I was back in, and I was back in past Stevenson and I forget the name of the first street towards on the east side. So
Bridge.
Bridge Street. Don't you forget it's Bridge Street.
Yeah, I
We
knew
haven't
that.
got the official name opening yet. We're gonna do that once the thing goes out. But that's
Sorry, I knew that. I just thought
You
I'd bring
knew
that
that.
up.
I knew you knew that.
I mean, I was certainly blown away as well. It's absolutely worth the drive back in and around and way back over on the north west corner. I mean, you've got the roundabout in, and it's all those houses in there are beautiful. I mean, it's amazing, and I'm certainly in favor of this as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anybody else want to make a comment? And I mean, Stephen, we've had this thought process, and I know when you first started, before the first shovel went in the ground, we talked about things that we needed in the community. And one thing I found, you look at the community, I think because you're from a small town in Elora, and you've grown up in that small environment and understand the needs and wants for small communities. But these townhouses are going to be a big boost to us. And when we had this talk about it quite a few years ago about maybe how the development was going to go, and we talked just threw those out there, and I'm glad to see it finally come through, because I think they're going to be amazing units. And thanks so much for investing in our community. I have no problem with this.
Thank you. I'm so excited to hear these words, because if you really like these designs, you ain't seen nothing yet, because we have the specialized block at the back corner that I have designed some really special units there. And from actually the fellow that designed them is our architectural designer in our office, who actually lives in the community. So there's a full circle for that. So it was really good, because as you know, the county is working on attainable housing issues, and we think we have a perfect product to bring forth that will look at those types of affordability issues that I think people can take advantage of. And the units I'm looking very much forward to, because they're very, very attractive. I'm looking forward to building those too.
And by the way, Stephen, thank you for, I actually had my economic development meeting today for the county, and Yana gave us an update on the Attainable Housing Committee that you're helping with.
Yes.
As a builder, to sort of give us an idea of how we're going to get there.
Yeah.
And thank you for participating in that as well.
Well,
okay, I don't see.
Yeah. Okay.
Through
Sorry.
you, Chair Bridge, James Shaw has joined us, and he is a registered person who would like to speak to this application.
Sure. James.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Actually, I don't really have anything to say after hearing everything. I'm satisfied with all that. I just did have one question. I know it doesn't have anything to do with the variance, but should the town maybe consider making a mandatory solar or something options on these houses? I know you have net zero houses, but I mean, this could be a good step for the communities to start insisting that the builders have solar on these houses.
Oh, James, you're speaking my language.
I was going to say, Stephen will love to talk to you about this.
Yeah, that is so encouraging to hear members of the public looking for those types of features or aspects of new housing. I'm not sure if you know, James, I am promoting and doing a whole community in the town of Elora that is exclusively net zero product. So we're building to these higher efficiency standards, which is called net zero ready. And then it's customer driven to make the whole home net zero by the purchase of the solar packages that we offer for the homes. So it's still an optional item because not everybody can afford the cost of solar. So we are making it optional. And James, you'll be really happy to know that in the cul-de-sac block off of Bridge Crescent is going to be exclusively net zero product there too as well. Where we've started lot number 11 that the customer, after describing it, they're coming from Tiviotdale, just they moved to our community. They asked us to purchase and build a home for them. And then after listening and hearing all the avenues or aspects of the benefits of net zero ready, they decided to go full net zero. So that first home will be, it's being built right now as we speak, and it's going to be meeting all the requirements of the net zero program. So James, thank you very much for bringing that to everybody's attention.
Yeah, just it would be nice to see. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't got it to a point where everybody can afford to put it on every house, but we're still leaving it up to clients to make that decision because it's not for everybody's budget, of course, but making the home super energy efficient is because it only makes sense. And if we can get hydro authorities, LDCs, to work with us to have the net metering, which they do in West Ontario does in this subdivision, it only makes financial sense too as well for clients to consider putting the solar on. It's just one more benefit from doing all that we're doing. So thank you again. I love talking about that. As you can see, just tell me to be quiet anytime.
And James, I guess maybe what I also would say in my FCM discussions with some of the green energy programs that might be coming from the federal government, there might be some opportunities that they would maybe do some subsidies or do some things so the builders, it can keep it within the attainable base, but at the end of the day, you'll get your money back because of putting it in. But I can see some of that happening down the road. So keep it apprised of that. Councillor Anderson, did you have a comment?
I do. I'm delighted to hear that. I also concur that I think it's within municipalities of the province's mandate to compel people to get as energy efficient as possible. And I think that should be a part of it. We personally have a geothermal system, and I wish that when they sold those, they sold a solar component to run the pump, because that would make a lot more sense to me if they package those two together. So these homes, when they're net zero, and we saw a really interesting presentation a few years ago at AMO about those, and it was intriguing to me. Are they able to put enough solar panels that your house could be independent? And are you allowed to do that? Or do you have to sell your hydro back to hydro and then you get the money back to put towards your hydro bill?
Yeah, Councillor Anderson, that's a really, really good question. Right now, the best and most economical and efficient way of benefiting for the customer is to connect to the net meter system that is offered by the local distribution company, the LDC or West Ontario in this circumstance. What becomes a bit of a problem when you're trying to go off grid, and that's a purist attempt for net zero, and that was the approach that I took on my first demonstration project that I did for National Resources Canada. We did a complete battery system whereby we started. Therein lies a bit of the issue, Councillor, is that storage of energy from solar is probably the biggest limitation because sizing, cost, and it's a spatial concern. So there's a lot of issues with that, and storing power and using it when you need it to run, say, your geothermal is a big equation that has to be solved, and mathematically almost to the point where you have to make sure that there's enough power stored in batteries in order for you to operate your, say, your pump system. But that is a fantastic idea, and it's still feasible to do it if you ever wanted to have it done. It can be done, but some good minds have to be put to thought on that to make it all happen. And then also when you get into storage issues, the electrical authorities get a little bit stickier with it. They're not 100% familiar with it, and we're forced to try and cut new path and sometimes it's a long uphill path to try and get everybody to understand what we're doing. However, I can prove that it does work because we did a demonstration project here in Elora, and it worked fantastic. So.
Oh, I would love to look into that. I'd love to speak to you
Yeah.
further about that.
Yeah.
James, have you got another question?
Yeah,
Or
I was just going to say that the battery storage would be a very big. I'm an electrician. I don't know if anybody.
yeah, okay.
The battery storage would be awesome, but it would be a huge cost for the customer. I think that if the communities that are allowing these subdivisions to come in, is a subsidy or something like that to allow every house to have solar, any house that's built in this subdivision doesn't have to fully solar, just the ability to put solar and then expand it later on. I think that that's something that our community should definitely look into having, because it would only benefit everybody.
Yeah. And that's a really good point, James. And we've also looked at it from another perspective too, of running solar strictly and solely for the operation of their mechanical systems.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't demand that you put on a full 10 kilowatts or whatever is necessary for the house to make it truly net zero. But why not put enough on to operate or offset the cost of mechanically providing heat and electricity to your home? Makes sense, right?
Yeah, and then put an inverter that you can upsize the solar, like down the road, you get a 10 kilowatt inverter, but only put 5 kilowatts on the roof or whatever, and then if the customer decides they want to add to it, they can, and it's not near as expensive.
Well, I'd like to keep this going, but we've got a couple of things to do, and thanks for everybody. But can we maybe move forward, because we have one more for Stephen, and thanks, James, for bringing that up. And I'm on a few committees that we're looking into some of this subsidization. Derek, did you have a question? Did you have something?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just real quick. So, given my work in some of the large utilities, I can tell you that the #1 R&D investment right now in North America is trying to establish a workable power wall for that very thing.
Yeah.
So you have a billions of dollars across North America right now in R&D trying to figure that question out about how do you store solar, and how do you make it economical, and how do you store how do you store it in a home? So that technology R&D is moving quickly, and I guess about 2 years ago I thought we were close, but I'm confident that solution will be coming very, very shortly. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and I must say, and Stephen mentioned the fact that West Ontario Power is big in trying to do green energy wherever we can, and because I sit on that board, and that's why you can do it and put it back in their grid. And so anything that we do in our area, both in all the urban centers, the Hydro One is in the rural, so urban centers, we can do that in Minto. So anyways, thank you. That's great discussion. Annalene, I think we have a positive here. If you want to do the positive one, that would be good.
Thank you, Chair Bridge. I'll put forward the motion that the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment approves the application by Right Haven Homes Limited for property legally described as Registered Plan 61M-237 Block 24 in the former town of Palmerston with a municipal address of 101 Stevenson Way in the Town of Minto to provide relief from the Town of Minto's comprehensive zoning bylaw 0186 as amended from section 113.2.1.2 to reduce the minimum lot frontage on a corner lot by 1 meter or 3.3 feet. Section 13.2.1.8 to reduce the minimum floor area by 3.9 feet, 3.95 meters square or 42.5 feet. And oops, wrong thing. Section 6.3.1b to reduce the minimum setback from the center line of the county road by 3.5 meters or 11.48 feet. So we will leave a mover and a seconder, Mayor Bridge.
And moving a seconder, Jean and Ron. Anybody opposed? Great, carried. Again, thank you, Stephen. I guess you're going to sit there because we're going to have one more coming right up. So that'll be great. So I will state anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustment with respect to the minor variance application must make a written request to the clerk of the Town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89, Harrison OG1ZO, or by email at Annalene@town.minto.on.ca. I will now officially close this public meeting. Okay. So our next one up is a public meeting for MV 2021-07, Block 25, Creek Bank Meadows, Right Haven Homes. I will call the public meeting to order and state any decision reached by the committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with in its own merits. No two applications are exactly the same. I will state this. The public hearing is to consider a minor variance application MV 2021-07 for Right Haven Homes Limited. I will call on the Secretary Treasurer McRobb to state the following information.
Thank you, Chair Bridge. The property subject to the proposed minor variance application is legally described as Registered Plan 61M-237 Block 25 in the former town of Palmerston, municipally known as 100 Stevenson Way in the town of Minto. The subject property is plus or minus 0.33 acres or plus or minus 0.13 hectare in size. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit the construction of a 4-unit street townhouse dwelling with a reduced lot area, reduced lot frontage, and reduced setback from the center line of the street. The applicant is seeking relief from section 12.2.6.1, section 12.2.6.2, and section 6.31B of the Town of Minto's Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 01-86 as amended. Section 12.2.6.2 states that the minimum lot area per dwelling unit must be 280 meters squared or 3,014 feet squared, whereas the applicant has proposed to reduce the minimum lot by 2.2 meters squared or 23.7 feet. And section 12.2.6.2 states that the minimum lot frontage on the corner lot residential unit is 13.6 meters or 44.6 feet, whereas the applicant is proposing the reduced frontage by 0.6 meters or 1.97 feet. Section 3.1B states that the minimum setback from the center line of a county road is 15 meters, 49.2 feet, plus the applicable 6 meter, 19.7 foot setback of the zone for a total required minimum of 21 meters or 68.9 feet, whereas the applicant is proposing to reduce the total street setback by 2.8 meters or 9.19 feet. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to the property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies on April 29, 2021, and posted on the April 30th, 2021 on the subject property. Comments were received from Ashley, our planning technician for the town of Minto, and Curtis Marshall, manager of development planning for Wellington County. I'd like to advise you again that Stephen Wright has registered to speak, as well as James Shaw.
Thank you, Annalene. I'll turn it over to Ashley to do the town and the county report. Go ahead, Ashley.
So this is for block 25 of the Right Haven Home subdivision. So it's the one that's directly across the street from block 24. The slight difference with this one is that it's only for 4 units as opposed to the 5. So there's a little bit different zoning to follow. But that being said, the relief they're asking for is very minor in nature. The lot frontage relief for a corner lot, they're asking for 0.6 of a meter. Lot area, as Annalene mentioned, it's 3,014 square feet that's required as a minimum. There's relief just for the 2 interior units. The relief for one is around 22 square feet and the other one is around 24 square feet. And then the street setback as well in this case is needing a bit of relief. In this case, it's 2.8 meters. So Maitland Valley for this as well had no objections or concerns, as did Wellington Source Water Protection. County Planning Department did not have any concerns either. And the roads department had the same comment as block 24, that because the access is off of Stevenson Way, not the county road, they were not concerned either. So town staff are supporting the application and recommending the relief be granted to the applicant.
Thank you, Ashley. And Stephen, did you want to speak to it, or is it similar to your other one?
Yes, it is. And thank you, Ashley. And once again, really good description. And Annalene, thank you too. The block 25 is actually the mirror image of what we built in block 23, and the side yard setback is actually greater than block 23. And all else being the same, the units were very successful in their sale and enjoyed by the customers that are living there now.
Thank you, Steve. James, did you want to speak to this, or?
No, everything is good there. Just about the solar. That's
okay. No problem. That's fine. Okay. Any questions from the committee? Again, I just say that this is well needed, and anyways, that's all I have. My comments. It's mirror image what I said last time, basically.
So through you, Chair Bridge, I will go ahead and read the resolution in favor. That Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment approves the application by Right Haven Homes Limited for property legally described as registered plan 61M-237 Block 25 in the former town of Palmerston with a municipal address of 100 Stevenson Way in the town of Minto to provide relief from the town of Minto's comprehensive zoning bylaw 01-86 as amended from section 12.2.6.1 to reduce the minimum lot area by 2.2 meters square or 23.7 feet squared. Section 12.6.2 to reduce the minimum lot frontage on a corner lot by 0.6 meters or 1.97 feet. And section 6.31B to reduce the minimum setback from the center line of the county road by 2.8 meters or 11.48 feet. We'll need a mover and a seconder.
Mover and a seconder for that. Deputy Mayor Turton and Jeff. Anybody opposed? Hearing none. Oh, I gotta read that last little piece, don't I? Should know this off by heart. Anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustments in respect to the minor variance application must make a written request to the clerk of the town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89, Harrison, OG1ZO, or by email at annaline@town.minto.on.ca. I'll now close that meeting. And just, Stephen, before you leave, I'm really looking forward to what we talked about with those other ones that you have in that far corner.
Yeah, I'll be very excited to bring forward the concept and the idea, and I'll probably have to become in front of council at some point in time, just so we can talk about the aspects of what it is that we're doing there. Because I think there are some special provisions under the attainable housing requirements that the county is both employing, and Mayor Bridge, you would probably very much be familiar with that. So it's kind of a joint, I'll call it, venture between municipal council and the county. And I'm looking to try and work. And I want the town of Minto to be one of the first, I'll call it, private public consortiums to do a project. And I think it'll be a big feather in the cap as far as the county is concerned if we can bring this forward at the town of Minto first. I think it'll be a very good leading edge concept and ideas for what we're doing here. Yeah,
and I think it's ideal, that site and what you're going to build is ideal, and I think it will fit into some of the county and I would think our things with CIPs and other things. So yeah. Looking forward to that, Steve. Thank you.
And just one other further point, that all of these blocks and units that we're talking about, they're all pre-sold.
Wow.
Yeah, the entire street has been pre-sold. So thank you very much. We're making a lot of people happy, and we're bringing a lot of good people to the community.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it feels very kind to come to these committee meetings here at the town of Minto. I really appreciate it. It's a nice warming feeling compared to other committees that I've had to appear before. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're bringing a great product to us. Thank you, Stephen.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night, Stephen.
Yeah. Okay. And we have one more. This is why we're doing this extra meeting, because this would have been a little long with a regular council meeting. So bear with us. This one is another public meeting on MV 2021-08, 99 Arthur Street, West Harrison. And we have Mark here. It's Harding. And I will call the public meeting to order and state any decision reached by the committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. I will state the following. The public hearing is to consider the minor variance application MV 2021-08 for Farmark. How did I say that right? I might have got that wrong. Development Company Limited, Mark and Francis Harding. France Harding. Okay. I'll call the Secretary Treasurer, Rob, to
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Bridge. The property subject to the proposed minor variance application is legally described as Part Park Lot 17 Southside Margaret Street, RP 61R6234, Parts 1 to 6, in the former town of Harrison, municipally known as 99 Arthur Street West, in the town of Minto, with frontage onto both Arthur Street West and Brock Street. The subject property is plus or minus 1.37 acres or plus or minus 0.55 hectares in size. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit the construction of 16 land lease single detached senior dwellings with reduced interior side yard setbacks. The applicant is seeking relief from section 35.28C, 4 of the Town of Minto's Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 0186 is amended. Section 3528C 4 states that the minimum interior side yard setback between dwellings where a garage or carport is attached to and forms part of the main dwelling is 2.44 meters, 8 feet, and 1.22 meters, which is 4 feet, between attached garages and carports, where the applicant is proposing to reduce all interior side yard setbacks to 1.22 meters or 4 feet. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to the property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies, and posted on May 6, 2021 on the subject property. Comments were received from Ashley Sawyer, planning technician for the Town of Minto, and Matthew Dow, planner for the County of Wellington. I just advise you that owner Mark Harding has registered to speak to his application.
Great. Okay, so I'll ask Ashley to give the county and town report. Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, this location of this proposed minor variance is at 99 Arthur Street West. So it's a through street just through that development that goes out to Brock Street. And it is proposed to have 16 land lease units for seniors. So land lease means that you own your house, but the developer owns and maintains the property. So you don't have to look after things like landscaping, lawn cutting, snow removal, and all that fun stuff. So this property has site-specific zoning already that states, as Annalene mentioned, the interior side yard setback, where a garage and a unit are beside each other, is 8 feet. If 2 garages are beside each other, it's 4 feet. So the applicant is looking to reduce all interior side yard setbacks, regardless of the situation, to 4 feet. This is so he'll be able to provide 2 parking spaces and not have to reduce any square footage of the homes. So each dwelling unit is approximately 1,000 square feet. With 2 parking spaces, this would also help reduce street parking in that instance. Additionally, the developer is looking to increase the front yard setback to help reduce the narrow and tunnel feeling of the development. And in most cases, it also increases the rear yard setback by giving this extra space on the side yard. The Ontario Building Code would permit for this reduction in distance between the dwelling units, as long as the required fire rating is installed on the exterior units, which the applicant is aware of. Maitland Valley and Wellington Source Water Protection had no concern. County Planning were satisfied that the application maintains the general intent and purpose of the bylaw, as our staff. We did want to note, though, that we would not be supportive of a future severance of the parcel. It has to remain as one. This is because it's a very site-specific development with the reduction in setbacks and the intent of the build. So town staff are recommending a condition of approval that a 19.8-foot driveway must be provided for each unit to help meet the 2 parking spaces per unit. But ultimately, we are asking for a recommendation to grant the relief.
Thank you, Ashley. And Mark, did you want to speak to this? And I know this is your maiden voyage on this technology, but I would love to be here. As I said to Stephen, it'd be nice to be a person, but are you there? No.
So Mark, if you wanted to just unmute yourself, you have been promoted as a panelist.
I can't. Mark?
That work?
Yep, we can hear
now?
you.
I wonder if when you moved him over, Annalene, he didn't drop off somehow.
We can hear him now. Mark, we can hear you now.
That's
ahead.
good. Technology is quite a thing that I'm having a hard time grasping.
Yeah, I can hear you now, Mark.
Good.
I know. I know this is your maiden voyage on this technology stuff. So go ahead.
Yeah. So everything the girls have said is applicable.
We've lost you again there a bit.
Dave
Unless it's
Turton,
my
remember?
end. It could be my end. My internet's terrible out here today.
Sorry,
you hear
through
me now?
you, Mayor Bridge, I can hear him. So it
Yeah,
might
we
be
hear you now,
hearing.
Mark. Go. Yep, you're good. Yep.
I know Dave Turton is enjoying my hat.
Oh, there you are. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Well, now we see you. Okay, go ahead.
I just did ask Dave Turton to please move to the sideways because you're blocking that outstanding logo. But anyway,
I know. Well, we got Leaf logos up here too. So there you go. It'll be an interesting series. Go ahead, Mark.
yeah, the girls explained very well. We're not. I guess the side yard setbacks and stuff, like it's all one big development. So it's really the reduction you're allowing between the houses, and they already allowed for 4 feet between if you had 2 garages side by side. So we're just asking for 4 feet between living spaces, And so, yeah, it's
All right.
just trying to create something that is going to be useful to these older generation that needs some small housing.
It's housing certainly needed, Mark, that's for sure. I'll open it up to the committee and then they can ask you any questions if there is any of yourself or Ashley, but and then we'll go from there. So hang in there. Any questions? Councillor Elliott. And don't talk about the lease.
You know, I gotta, even though he's got that Montreal Canadian hat on, I know Mark's a very credible builder and I would support this 100%. We certainly need it in our community and it's something I'm looking forward to seeing. And as a matter of fact, I'm glad you're going ahead with it, Mark.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Turton.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Bridge. Same thing here. I mean, Mark and I have had numerous discussions I've been prodding him for years to get going on this. We've talked about some of the issues why he hasn't been going, and now here he goes. So I know for a fact that he has lots of customers, according to him. There's customers talking to him quite often, and I don't think that's a secret, Mark. And I think it's great that you're doing this, and I support you.
Thank you. Just something that I guess had to take run its course. Took a long time to get going, but anyways, it seems to be happening better now.
Right. Councillor Anderson and then Councillor Dirksen. Go ahead, Councillor Anderson.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. Just a couple of questions. Is there a house already in that section? A freestanding house? Does that get included into this development somehow, or are you just building around it? I couldn't figure out from the description.
Well, it's built with the hope that this bylaw would be changed, that we are going to be allowed to go 4 feet between. So we built it with that hope. The two houses that are standing there now are 8 feet apart because there's supposed to be a 4-foot walkway between the two of them going over towards seniors.
Okay.
Former railway station. So that is 8 feet right now. The rest of them will probably, for sure, on the one side it'll be 4 feet between them. On the other side, they're a little different shaped lots. So there may end up being more like 6 feet between some of them, but that's only because of the different layout and stuff like that. So,
did you build that house?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Laverne and Gloria Stinson have been in for about 3 years.
Yeah. And I'm thrilled to see something happening with that piece of land. I'm one of those people also that said it's all set up there. What are we waiting for? But I'm very intrigued by this land lease idea, which I think is great. But so people buy the house, they don't own the land. Is that correct?
To put it in simple terms, it's more like what the trailer park used to be. You own the. They didn't own the land, but they leased the spot for the trailer to sit on. These are a little bit harder to move than trailer, but so it's a little more complicated. But it's they have basically the same thing out of Pike Lake. There's a number of them around.
Yeah.
So you would be the owner of the land?
I'm owner of the whole property.
Of the whole property. So down the road, say if you wanted to sell, what happens then? Then you'd have to sell the land and find somebody who would want to take over that same sort of arrangement for these folks?
I guess that's they'll have to just like the people, if they build a house on it and they sign a lease with me, if they go to sell that house, the new owner is going to have to
sign a lease as well.
Take over the lease or sign the lease.
I'm not criticizing. I'm just curious, very curious. I think this is a great thing. I think it'll go a long way to making the property more attainable for people, so they can get a home that they can retire in. The heavy work is taken care of, the snow and the grass. I think that's absolutely marvelous. We certainly need things like this for people to retire in. It's a real struggle for people nowadays, right? And they don't want to go into this. Allows them to make that next step. They can downsize a bit. They still have some access to grass and outside, but they don't have to maintain it. So good luck. I'm sure it will go very, very well. You'll probably have to look for land for another development.
Well, I'm hoping that we get this one done, and then I can move the snow for a couple of years till somebody else moves for me.
That's right.
All right, perfect.
Councillor Dirksen.
Thank you, Mary Bridge. I was also wondering, I guess I got the answer to the question about how far apart the two homes that are there now are. So I got the answer to that. And I was also wondering, are there basements in these homes?
There's basements in the two that are built now, and there will be in a majority of them. The one corner, one end towards the co-op is contaminated. And that has been that's been part of the setback for the last number of years, dealing with that. So some of them will not have basements, they'll be slab on grade.
Okay, super. And I also want to echo the other comments that very happy to see this going, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks.
Deputy Mayor, Councillor McKenzie and then Deputy Mayor Turk.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. Good work, Mark. It's been a while coming, but we're all happy about this. I have a question. Is that street, was it ever named? Will we have to do that for civic addressing, or how does that work?
Well, the whole property is known as 99 Arthur Street West, and I guess so our name, which we've been calling it House Lane, so I guess that's what it's going to be called.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, okay.
So it's really, I guess the civic address is 99 Arthur Street, and then it's unit 1 to 16.
Right. It's already got it. Yeah, it's already got an address. Yeah. Okay. Deputy Mayor Turk.
Yeah, just one last thing, Mark, it's transparency on that environmental lot there. That's a great thing. No basement there, cover it up. And so I just wanted, talking with you over the last couple of weeks, can you expand just for a second on the access to the basements that you're doing?
Well, any that have basement, and we're selling them with what's the word, Acorn Stairlift, Canadian company. And so right off the bat, we're pricing that right in, that there's going to be stairlift in it. So we're selling as a no step home, and with the stairlift in it, there is no steps. I know Laverne and Glory really appreciate that. Laverne uses it every day. So.
Oh, that's very strategic, Mark. I think that really enhances those buildings. So good for you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anything else? And just my only comment there, Mark, again, this type of housing is sorely needed. And we talk about Harrison all the time. We have our seniors that unfortunately sometimes had to move away because they couldn't downsize into something. And I'm really intrigued, along with Councillor Anderson, the uptake and Fairview Estates have done really well out in Pike Lake. I mean, with the leasehold, with those double wides on them. And I think that's a way to get the costs down so people can kind of go do that. So I'm really looking forward to see how your project works and getting it all sold out, and let me know if there's any concerns. I don't think there should be, but it's a different product, right? So
yeah, the land lease idea has been met with some skepticism by people in smaller towns that aren't used to it. It's more common in Guelph and Kitchener. Yeah, we've had some people apply or looking at it, and they don't even balk at the land lease thing. It's more of a local thing that
and I think
around this idea.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if we get a couple projects like yours up and running, we'll have more opportunity to do more of them. That's what I'm thinking, and that's how we're going to get that attainable housing product that we need for our seniors and for some of our youth even that are moving into the market. Right. Okay. Thank you. Annalene, I think we go with the positive one here. I don't hear any negatives. So if you want to bring that one up, then we can get Mark.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Bridge. I will provide the resolution that the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment approves the application by Framework Development Company Limited for property legally described as Part Park Lot 17 Southside Margaret, Registered Plan 61R 6234 parts 1 to 6 in the former town of Harrison, municipally known as 99 Arthur Street West, in the town of Minto, with frontage on bond to both Arthur Street West and Brock Street, to provide relief from section 35.28 C4 of the town of Minto's comprehensive zoning bylaw 0186 as amended. The relief granted from section 35.28 C4 is to reduce all interior side yard setbacks to a minimum of 1.22 meters or 4 feet, with the condition that the developer must install a 6 meter or 19.8 foot driveway for each dwelling unit to the satisfaction of the town of Minto.
Okay,
I'll need a mover and a seconder through you, Chair Bridge.
Councilor Anderson and Deputy Mayor Turton. Anybody opposed? Hearing none. Thank you. And there you are, Mark. Now let's read this. Anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustment in respect to the minor variance application must make a written request to the clerk of the town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89, Harrison, OG1ZO, or by email at annaline@town.minto.on.ca. Thanks for being here, and thanks for your investment in the community, Mark.
Thanks for your time.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go Habs, go. Back.
All right.
Through you, Mayor Bridge.
Yes.
Because we had moved into Committee of Adjustment, and I see there isn't one here, I will need a motion that the Town of Minto Committee Adjustment convene into Committee of the Whole, and we would need a
Yes.
mover and a seconder for that.
That would be Councillor Elliott and Councillor Dirksen. Anybody opposed? Carried, moving in. Okay, good.
Thank you.
And then we have no delegations, correspondence received. We don't have anything, right? That's good. The next meeting.
That's correct.
And committee staff reports. And so we have a planning technician, and I get Ashley, you're a busy girl tonight. You're earning your pay.
I'm finding that I get a lot of applications as soon as the lockdown's announced.
Yeah. Yeah.
The rhyme or reason. Okay. So, am I okay to start?
I think so.
Okay. So this consent application notice we received from the county is for a lot line adjustment at 9417 and 9421 Pike Lake Road. So it's owned by Bill and Wilda Burke. Essentially, somewhere along the line, the workshop has been severed off from the residential portion of the property. So this lot line adjustment is to rectify that problem, to bring the workshop and the house onto one property. So the applicant is looking to perform this lot line adjustment to rectify that issue, as well as leave the farmland as it is with the existing storage barn on it. So the workshop proposed to be added to the lot of the house exceeds the maximum ground floor area of an accessory structure. So as such, one of the conditions that we're recommending is that zoning compliance / relief be obtained for that. Additionally, we are recommending a change of use permit, or zoning compliance could also be an option there as well while they do the other, to rezone the existing barn that's on the farmland to address any potential future concerns about the use. Public Works are recommending standard conditions such as ensuring there's appropriate access to both the severed and retained parcels, as well as the reapportionment of the local municipal drain. So staff are recommending that the council recommends the approval of the lot line adjustment to the Land Division Committee with the conditions provided in the report. And if you would like, I can read all of the conditions.
Sure. You want to read? Is everybody good at making you read the conditions, or are we all right with them? I think I'm all right with them, to be honest with you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. All right.
So through you, Mayor Bridge, the mover and seconder for those ones.
Yeah, so moved by Councillor Guston, second by Councillor Anderson, that we accept the, I guess, it just says here for the resolution. Is that all it is, Annaline?
So through you, Mayor Bridge, it's just that you recommend to the County of Wellington Land Division all of the items that Ashley had stated within her report.
Exactly. So that's all those go ahead, Judy.
I was just going to say, I feel like I was maybe a part of the council whenever that shed was severed away from the house a number of years ago. And I think maybe you were probably there too, Councillor McKenzie. But anyway, so I think this makes a lot of sense to do this. I guess probably the old farmhouse was back where the barn was, and then this newer house was built up front on this severed lot. I'm assuming that's kind of what happened. I guess at that time, maybe there wasn't any requirement for the barn. And so that's why we have to do it now, or why it needs to be done as a condition of the severance. Because certainly, you'd almost think that could be done, but then that would be another lot, right? And that's what's wrong with it, because it'd be creating another lot, right? So anyways, all good. I'm good with it.
All right. So anybody opposed to it? Carried. Okay. Next up, we have another one. Should I read the recommendation first? No, I guess let Ashley do the report first. Go ahead, Ashley.
All right, so this is for a severance application that's being held before the Land Division Committee. And this is for a proposed urban residential lot that's right near the corner of Louise and Elora Street in Harrison. Long story short, it's an existing vacant residential parcel that they are now looking to split into two. So that being said, it would meet the lot frontage and area requirements of the zoning bylaw. However, town staff have noted, and you may notice in the staff report, that the layout of the land is there's a vacant parcel as proposed retained and then severed and then proposed retained. So our concern from the town perspective would be if the severed parcel were to put up a fence or even just general maintenance crossing over someone's property, is how do you control something like that? So we are recommending that that small vacant strip that fronts onto Louise is actually merged with the severed portion, and then the retained portion remains as is proposed. We have also noted that both parcels do have existing water and sewer lines to the lot line. These were completed at the time that Elora Street was redone, I believe around 2013. The applicants have actually already paid for these services to be installed, and additionally 2 curb cuts were installed for access to what will be both parcels at that time. So some of the conditions we have is just confirmation from Public Works in writing that these are there and existing, and then standard financial conditions, as well as the small vacant strip being merged with the severed as opposed to being part of the retained.
And so moved by Councillor McKenzie, second by Deputy Mayor Turton, that the following recommendations, and I'm not going to read them all. Go ahead, Judy, go ahead.
I'm just really curious about that little strip that goes out to Louise Street. What was the purpose in that? Was that to allow access to them, or like it just seems very odd that that's there, and I'm just curious why.
Weird looking, yeah.
That was our question too initially, and we did reach out to the county, and their report's not due till today, so they gave me kind of their preliminary thoughts, but initially we're kind of thinking it might be a mistake, that it should have been labeled severed as opposed to retained, but we just wanted to have that in as a condition just to make sure that it's addressed properly.
I think that's the best way to
tidies it up, I think, Judy.
Sure.
Yeah, another good in lot though. That's good. Councillor Elliott.
Yeah, a little bit confused, but that's easy for me. I'm wondering, the applicant is okay with everything we're doing, is adding that little strip to the severance, that everything's okay with that? Like,
we'll propose it as a condition, and then it'll be recommended to the county, so it'll be up to them and us to sign off on that approval once we're satisfied that it's been addressed. If for some reason they can come back and give a valid reasoning as to why, we technically could still sign off on the clearance of condition, but I personally can't see why it would need to remain as 2 separate.
so do they own that little strip now? Like, they wouldn't have to purchase it or anything like that?
No, they own it, and I've drove by it, and it looks like there's a little fence there, but it's not, like, it's just fence facing Louise Street. It's not the entire property, so I'm not exactly sure what the use was and why it's laid out like that initially, but it'd be nice to regularize the lots a little bit more.
So it's a lot with a secret little street down it that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Councillor McKenzie and then Councillor Anderson.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Bridge. I don't have this right in front of me, Ashley. I have to apologize. It's the second lot in, right?
Yes. Yeah.
From the highway on the left.
Yes, it's right.
Okay, so that was I don't know if there was that lot was always used as a laneway to a house on the railroad track.
Oh, there you go.
That's what
that makes sense. That makes sense.
It's just been left to join to one of those lots, I guess, but that's what it was for. There was a house back in there.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that makes sense. Judy?
Yeah, I noticed there's a shed encroaching on that spot too, by the looks of the drawing. So that's something that would have to be dealt with too. I guess it's not really our problem, but the owner would have to look at that too. But that makes perfect sense. Thank you, Mr. Historian.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Councillor Anderson.
Okay, I'm still a little confused. I don't know if it's just the diagram, because you're retaining the little strip to adjoin to the other retained section with the severed in between? Because that's what my drawing shows.
So that's what's been proposed and that's what's on the survey sketch. We're proposing that that small strip actually is joined to the severed parcel so that it's directly abutting and it's not divided.
Yeah.
So that's what one of the conditions is included as, to have it rather than be retained as part of the severed and merged together.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense at all the way it is now. You have a little strip that goes to the severed portion. I'm assuming they're going to put building lots, or is that the intention here, that they're going to build on those 2 lots?
For the 2 lots, yes, that one small piece won't be able to be built on. That's
No.
another thing too, is if it was left there, you'd have to have zoning compliance as well, which it's just a random little strip. So it makes more sense to join it to the severed.
Right. Okay. And if they refuse?
Tough luck.
Their severance isn't cleared, so.
Okay, all right. Because yeah, it makes no sense the way it is now. It doesn't.
So, yeah, so Councilor Anderson, we're sending this to the county, right? So the county then has to
Okay.
deal with it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just saying we're fine with our side of it now. And it still has to get through the county committee of adjustment, I believe, right, Ashley? So-
Their land division as well, yeah. And
That's right, land division, yeah.
he had said this, that they would be recommending the same, that they technically you could leave it like that. Would it be recommended? No.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so is everybody, anybody opposed to sending this off? Don't see any, good, then off it goes. Other businesses to closed. Councilor Elliott, I believe, has one, and Deputy Mayor Turton, I think. Go ahead, and if it's not, and I don't want to hear anything about hockey. So, okay, go ahead.
You love hockey.
I know I do, but we don't.
Yeah, just for information to get it out. As you know, our water tower is being repainted and reevaluated and fixed inside. As we're doing that, we had to take the water out of it, and we now have pumps pumping water to our community. Last night, there was some concern that our water pressures on the pumps were very high. And as a matter of fact, it almost crashed the system. It was very close. And what was happening is several people are this is the community of Palmerston I'm talking about. Several people are out watering their lawns. And I mean, it takes an awful lot of people to do that, but they're out watering their lawns. And we had some of our staff went around realizing that and got them to shut them down, and not without abuse they got from people wanting to do that or wanting to continue watering. But they did shut them down, and we got our system back in operation, so it was operation fine now. But I'm very concerned, and so are the staff, concerned about this long weekend coming up. People are going to be sitting at home thinking they're going to have that nice, beautiful lawn again and out and maybe fill a few pools or whatever they're going to do. Right now, the water's under conservation. We're trying to watch what we do with it. You can have normal use within your house, but certainly we can't have people watering their lawns and creating that. If we can hang on for, I feel like COVID, we can hang on for 2 or 3 more weeks, or even 4 weeks, we may have this beat. Right now, the weather is cooperating with us and we're getting it painted. But it's important that people adhere to the watering. It's not a ban, but watering, less use of it. That would be great. If we've got to get the message out to them. I was talking to Belinda, and she's going to put it on the town Facebook. We're putting it out in the Norgan. Our Lions Club are putting it out on their Facebook. If you people could get our council could get out and let people know. We certainly don't want, if the water crashed, nobody has any water in the town of Palmerston. So if we can let people know, however, you've got some social media or whatever you can do to let people know in Palmerston that we need to conserve the water for a little while anyway.
Thanks, Ron. And just to speak to that, Councilor Anderson, first, Ron took my spot because I was going to talk about that, but that's right. But anyways, the other concern, of course, too, is fire, because if we're in a situation that we don't have pressure if there's a fire there. So this was well sent out to everybody in Palmerston. Everybody should not be totally surprised that we're doing this. It's like if you were in a drought and you had to shut it down. This is the same thing, and we told everybody it was a planned outage. And I believe, and Derek maybe speak to this, but I believe, Derek, that we're not behind on our project. It's actually probably even a little, I hate to jinx it, so I'm not going to say.
Don't jinx it.
Let Derek, go ahead, Derek.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So a couple things. I just want to assure the public in Palmerston that we have contingency plans in place in the event of a fire. And we've been working with the hospital now for, the better part of 6 weeks. And we've got contingency plans for our dialysis units there as well. But Councillor Elliott is absolutely correct. We had staff have to go out last night and talk to more than a few people about watering their lawns. And quite honestly, the reaction they got from some of the residents was unacceptable. And the fact of the matter is true that if this continues, then we will crash our 2 pumps, and that'll be a problem for everybody. So we're asking people to be patient. I can tell you that right now it's ahead of schedule, and we're crossing our fingers that will continue, and the weather's been good, so the painting has started. So we're just, again, wanting to remind residents of Palmerston, please do not fill your pool, do not water your lawn for a little while longer until we can get this job done. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Elliott.
Councillor Anderson, did you want to go ahead?
So why are we not putting a ban on it then?
There is a ban.
Oh, I thought Ron said that there wasn't a ban, but that we were telling people not to. There is a ban on watering?
Well, like it's not like a drought ban that we did. I mean, we asked people to cooperate, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Derek's nodding and shaking his head. Is it banned or is it?
Yes, there is a water ban in effect for Palmerston.
Okay, it is a ban. Okay, thanks, Dean.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the town people, because I know they've worked really hard with the hospital, and we have a tanker truck out there, and we're all instructed on how to flip it over, because if we lose water for those dialysis patients,
right,
we're in big trouble in very short period of time. So I know they've been working diligently with lots and lots of meetings and get-togethers to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I know Dan Todd has really worried about it. So anyway, Deputy Mayor Turk.
Yeah, I was talking to Todd earlier, and he said that things are much better tonight. So,
good.
So all the issues that they went through last night in talking to people has really paid off. So things are good tonight. So thank you to the people in Palmerston.
Yeah, and I see Campbell's still on, and Campbell, maybe if you're doing anything for the Blackburn, maybe you can put something out on that. That'd be great. And we can get you some script for that if you'd like.
Just a quick run up there. I did talk to a couple of people on the weekend before even this happened, and I said, you're all set with the watering ban and everything. He said, oh, what watering ban? And
yeah.
what and I said, we got the information out to you. When I sent it to them, they researched it. Yes, they got it, their little piece of paper, and they just didn't pay attention. So yeah, reminder.
Right. I think. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Has anybody got it? Or Mark? So you had something. Sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
I did. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. It's a risk management matter I'm going to talk about for a minute. I did communicate with CAO Derek and Fire Chief Chris on this, and that we have in our urban centers businesses and homes without the civic numbers posted. It's as an enumerator, it was a heck of a thing sometimes to find houses and businesses without numbers. But more importantly, 911 responders, it's mandatory for those to post those numbers for those for that reason, for emergency response. So Chris has suggested that possibly the town could do a social media reminder.
Yep.
And try and get these people to put their numbers visible from the street on their properties. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks. And you got that, Derek?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. No, I think this has come up before, Councilor McKenzie, and I don't know why people want to put a number on their house. It's frustrating as heck. not to be able to find a house, but it's even more frustrating if they have to go with a fire
Right on.
or an ambulance.
Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Dirksen.
Just want to add, that goes for rural properties too, because those green signs are important. And so if you see them swinging by one hook, it's time to hook them up again, or you need to keep those signs in place, because in an emergency, that's how they find you.
Yeah, and they are replacing those, Judy, the county's replacing,
Yeah,
I believe.
they're all
those.
replaced in Minto, I believe. And yeah, I believe they're all finished. They were finished quite some time ago, actually, in Minto. And but yeah, you just those signs you need to look after, because it's important to finish
For sure. Okay. Deputy Mayor Turton.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Bridge. I just wanted to remind everybody about the county pumpkin competition.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that's right.
So this is all originating out of Metz, and it's James Coffey that is planting the pumpkins to get them started. And we have 7 pumpkins here in Minto, and working with our friend Mr. Judge, and we're planting them this Friday at 1 o'clock out behind the town office, behind the Public Works building. And so what I would like to do, what we've decided, Patrick is going to come out and take some pictures and talk about it. And we're going to put a number beside each one. And I'm hoping that everybody will buy into this and give your pumpkin. So we've got 5 councillors, a mayor, deputy mayor, so that adds up to 7. So hopefully everybody will take this serious, and maybe we'll have a large pumpkin to offer to the competition come September, October.
So do we have to look after individual pumpkins? We have to go out there and actually look after them there?
And if you want, I mean, if you've got some magic potion that you want to.
Well, you never know. You never know.
So we're gonna number them 1 to 7, and somehow we're going to have. I don't know exactly how we're going to do it, but we're going to pick a number, and your Mayor Bridge, your pumpkin might be number 5. So
yeah, all right.
We're doing that on Friday at 1 o'clock. If anybody wants to be a part of it, that's fine. If not, we can find somebody else to take your pumpkin.
I'll be at work.
No, you don't have to be there, but
Okay.
You don't have to be there to the planting. You just have to be there to nurture Gene when you need to. Like when it gets
So
to be
are
about
we
almost
to take
500
care of them, or
pounds. You got to get
Paul
there,
going to take care of them all?
cover it and stuff.
Paul will likely take care of the ones that don't get taken care of.
Lost her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I think you're
All
supposed
right.
to feed them
Okay,
special
well, good
things.
for you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right, we'll see what happens. Okay, anything else? Okay, moving on. Boy, that was a long one. That was. We might not have to have one of the next one in 2 days, Annalee, right? Okay, so where am I? Oh,
Motion to return to regular council, Mayor.
oh, that's it. Yeah. Moved by Councilor McKenzie, second by Councilor Dirksen, that the Council of Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the. No, I got to get back into there first, right?
Yeah, just the one before it.
Yeah, moved by Deputy Mayor Turton, second by Councilor Gutson. The Town of Minto Committee of the Whole convenes the regular council meeting. Okay. All in favor? Opposed?
You don't have to do that.
I know that. I don't have to do that. Okay. No notice of motion. Anybody got a notice of motion? No. Okay. Moved by Councilor McKenzie, second by Councilor Dirksen, that the Council of Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the Committee of the Whole. Anybody opposed? Carried. Moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Councilor Gutson, that the bylaw number 2021-40 to confirm the actions of the Council of the Corporation of Town of Minto respecting a meeting held May 18th, 2021 be read first, second, and third time and passed over to Council on the COC of the Corporation. Anybody opposed? And just before I adjourn, I just want to say thanks to the Council for doing this extra one. As you can see, there was a lot of great stuff there. There's a lot of really good things happening, and we've got some good development going. And Ashley, I don't know if you're still on there or not. Good job. That was a long meeting for you, but you did an excellent job. So thank you very much. And
good work.
Yeah, good work. Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Mackenzie, the council of Town of Minto adjourns to meet again at the call of the mayor, which is Thursday, by the way. Okay,
See you guys soon.
see you soon. Bye,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.